I have zero problem if that is the plan. I think it's the perfect plan, to be honest with you. I think he's repaid his debt to Cleveland by bringing a championship, 3 straight finals. If he does another year, 4 straight years there. And I just think there's a history of whatever the biggest show is in basketball, it ends up in a Lakers uniform. From Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Shaquille O'Neal, those guys all came via free agency in some capacity. There's a whole list of former MVPs that end up in a Lakers uniform. You got to have a big show here in L.A.
I wish we could pull back the tape a couple weeks ago before the finals started, because I said right then, if the Cavs do not win this series, we can start talking about when is LeBron going to bolt from the Cavs and keep chasing rings, which, like you, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with what Kevin Durant did. But let's be honest, he values winning over loyalty when it comes to basketball. Maybe not in his personal relationships, but when it comes to basketball. And we saw that after the press conference, and he was saying, I did everything I should. I played well. I can put my head down at night and sleep fine, basically throwing his teammates all under the bus. And by the way, he puts his teammates on the bus when they need to be put on the bus, too.
I just want to know why my name wasn't on that list as far as notable stars joining the Lakers at the end. You know, you said notable stars. But, ironically, with LeBron James, and Doug, you've been around this enough to know, nothing can surprise you in regards to what he's going to do or what he's not going to do. And it's hard to read into his interviews because he's cautious at some aspects, but then he'll lead you on at another. Jason, I agree with you. He's done his job in Cleveland. Now, how much of it, too, because he's so loyal to that community, to pull away at the end? I think one more year and they don't beat Golden State. They don't make the right moves to get the right people. Could he look? Yeah, but I think this is going to be critical to what they do this summer into regards to what the next 3 to 5 years look like for LeBron James in Cleveland.
Leverage play. I mean,
look,
he's a businessman. It's a leverage play. And what does he want? He wants better teammates around him that put him on an even playing field from his perspective. And what else does he want? He wants to own that team.
Big time.
He wants that team. It's the ultimate payback for Comic Sans is he wants Dan Gilbert's team and whatever it takes to get it. And if it takes him walking out the door and going to a Laker uniform and then coming back when the team's value sinks, that's a possibility. Or it's just, hey, wink, wink, nod, nod. The old Joe Smith deal in the top of the dresser drawer that eventually he'll get an ownership stake and it will be his team. I think ownership and the ability to pick who replaces Kevin Love, because that's the only real movable piece on that starting lineup that they can move. I agree. It makes sense to end up in L.A. Why wouldn't you? It builds his brand. It's the place he wants to live. It's the only major market he can really go to, right? Like he's not going to go to New York, play for Phil Jackson. He's not going to go to Brooklyn. He's not going to go to Chicago. So the only is L.A., and the Lakers with Magic Johnson, they're on a 2-year plan to get him back to being playoff worthy. And if he's there along with a Paul George or somebody else, it'll all make sense. But I think that the start of this, it's a leverage play. He wants it out there that LA's a possibility to motivate them to fix the team and potentially sell them the team.
Well, also, too, keep an eye on this. David Griffin, July 1st, contract is up. What happens in this situation if he stays or if he goes? Who replaces David Griffin if they don't re-sign him? All you're talking about power play moves, is it someone that adheres to what LeBron and his team wants to do moving forward in regards to the ownership aspect?
See, I don't think he's the best player that I've ever seen. Jordan's a better player, in my opinion. And I think he does lack some of that killer instinct. But he's an incredible businessman. He has a great business sense, and he understands how he can leverage his power. And whether it's smart or not, I honestly think that's what's at stake here.
It could be. He already gave Cleveland their championship, so I think all will be forgiven. But he always is chasing that ghost of Michael Jordan. And so he needs to do the kind of Hollywood thing so LA is a perfect destination. And we're talking about the Lakers, but I wouldn't rule out the Clippers either, because could you imagine how big of a hero he would be if he got the Clippers championship?
Listen, I think that it's not about rings if he leaves Cleveland. I think it's just about chasing money at that point. And you can make more money sitting out here in L.A. More of his business interests, I think, are out here in Hollywood. I think Maverick Carter has a home out here. The stuff they're trying to do with movies and documentaries and all that other stuff. And so I think LeBron will give it one more go to get a ring. But moving forward after that, particularly if it doesn't happen, It's just going to be about where he can make the most money, where he can max out his brand so that he can buy not the Cavaliers or some NBA team at the end of his career.
I also think, though, you make an accurate point, and I agree with you. The only way I'll disagree with you, Christine, in terms of the Clippers is you can't go play for the Clippers if you're LeBron. You can't go play for the Nets if you're LeBron. It's just not. The
Can't
Clippers,
do that to your
the
brand.
Clippers play in the Lakers arena. It's still, it's
But
always.
he could be responsible for changing that.
It's great. You're never really going to change it, right? Like in New York, you play for the Yankees. You don't play for the Mets. You play for the Giants. You don't play for the Jets. You play for the Cubs. You don't play for the White Sox. In L.A., we all know you played for them. I grew up here. You played for the Lakers, not the Clippers, even if the Clippers are the better team.
We got to move.